Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Love Human Be Spirit. How are you today, my beautiful co-host Monique?
Hi, I'm doing great. Welcome back. And thanks for asking. I'm doing good. I'm excited. We've been chatting for a minute. I'm all juiced up. I'm gassed up. I'm ready to go. Let's fucking talk about it. Excited to be back here with you always, as always, Amy, but excited to be with our listeners. Checking in again. We're going to talk about a really specific thing that we kind of were chatting about on our own that sort of came up, and we're excited to kind of dig it out and dig it up together and talk about it and flip through it. And should I just say what it is? Should I just go right into it?
Go for it.
Okay, thanks, Manifester. um, so we're gonna talk about the profiles. So if you're into, the number part of the human design system, the profile piece, that's what we're gonna be focused on today. And we're gonna talk about the nuances in between the in betwux, in between, in betwixt, in betwixt. That was the word I was coming out that wanted to come out. In betwixt numbers, like so 1314 is the like closeness of these profiles that are right next door to each other that have similarities in terms of like 2535 was another one of our examples when this conversation came up. If you've listened to this show before, or even if you heard the intro just now, you know that Amy's a 3-5 and you know that I'm a 1-4. And my daughter is a 2-5 and Amy's daughter is a 1-3. How about that? So we both have offspring with a profile right next door to our friend's profile. Did I do that right? Yeah.
Yes, you did.
And so I'm on fire because I've got gate 13, guys. I'm all connected right now. Things are fucking single definition firing away. So and yeah, and so we started to realize like, gosh, there's so many similarities that I could see that between Amy and my daughter, and that Amy can see between me and her daughter for sure. We talk about these, we exchange stories as friends, as whatever, as partners, as and we realize that there's all these similarities and so different at the same time.
Yeah.
And we realized like in these moments, I don't know if that was the exact reason we realized, but we realized that there's these like, one number, like these nuances. And if you've dug into the profiles at all, you know that I know that when I dug into them, you know that some of these profiles hold space like in a day for a longer period of time. And then they transition to these other profiles that hold space in the day for like a shorter period of time. And then they go to another one and it goes in this pattern. And it's really quite lovely once you learn about it. I don't remember when I learned about it. It was way later. So if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that's fine too. If all you know is like, I looked at my human design and I'm a 3-5, whatever, whatever, cool. Then just, tap in when it feels good. But either way, and if you do know a lot about this is pretty fascinating to think about. We thought. So we wanted to kind of embark on that conversation with you guys. How was
Yeah,
that? Did I describe it pretty well?
brilliantly. Yes,
Okay,
of
great.
course. I mean, I think whenever you position it to me, because, that's what we do, we're like, hey, I think it'd be cool to talk about this. We were just really noticing. We were having a conversation about the nuances that we were noticing in the similarities, yet there are some distinct differences. And so sometimes it's fun to look at it from that perspective versus just the, in-depth learning of what each profile line means. But when you put them together and then you can really look, like we always do, the lived experiences of how they show up, and then you can find some of those synchronicities, and which is what we've done. So we're just
Yeah.
tending to
Yeah.
just, again, what we are digesting for ourselves is what we often bring into this. It just, to expand you, hopefully, is really the
Oh my
intent.
gosh. Yes. And we're on YouTube now, you guys. I keep wanting to say this at the beginning when we start recording and I keep forgetting. And Amy and I are not great at going in a straight line anyway. So now you know we're on YouTube. If you're hearing this and you didn't know that and you haven't found your way there, and we'll probably announce this more places whenever that comes up. But in case you hear this episode right now today in your ear holes and you're like, oh, shoot, I can actually see their faces while they're saying all this stuff. Awesome. Go to YouTube, check it out, please. And thank you. And tell a friend if you'd like, if you enjoy it. We're pretty fun to watch, I think. I mean, I like drop things a lot and I like hit the mic sometimes. And you can get some real life like cry faces. I'm always crying or sniffling and snotting about it. So if that's your jam, if you like to like see things too while you're taking them, or if you're like aiming, you like to speed things up. Although you can probably do that on the podcast platforms too. I don't fucking know. I don't speed anything up, but we're on YouTube. Check it out. Same name, Love Human Be Spirit. Do that. Okay. Now, going back to the profiles, I also want to just say, I want to say them in order for the people listening. That's what I want to do. Can I try and do that?
Go for it.
So 1-3, right? The day starts, or whatever. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the profiles start 1-3. Okay. It's the first profile. So you like, in my mind, when I think of anything first, like when I learned astrology and you hear Aries, that's the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is like first, they can't see anything besides what's in front of like their own nose, you know? That's what I think of. My daughter, she's an ego projector. She's got the 2551. A lot of times she's just really focused on what's in front of her. Like the first person in line doesn't worry about the rest of the people in the back of the line, right? They're the first person in line. That's the 1-3. Okay. That's how I feel about the profiles. Like that's where the journey starts. They're the profile that has both both numbers are in the bottom hexagram, right? So they're both in the
lower trigram. Yes.
Lower trigram. Thank you.
4, 5, 6 on the upper trigram.
Right. So they're the only person. So they're like, I want, like, that's where my mind is going with this. It's like, they're the first. Their process is the most personal process, like whatever their view is or whatever, not personal view, not that, but like their process is so first. It's first. It's their own. Right. And we're talking about a one line that's like, okay, we'll break that down after. But so it goes 1-3, and they hold a lot of the space, like hours of the day. And then it goes to 1-4 next. And then, excuse me. And then it goes to 2-5. No.
2-4.
2-4. Thank you. I knew I was gonna fuck it up, but that's what Amy's here for. Keep me in order. So then it goes to 2-4, which holds again a lot of the hours of the day. And now, so when we move from 1-3 to 1-4, notice what that the profiles go now. We're in 2 hexagrams, even with the 1-4.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
So right, 1-3 is the only one that lives down there by themselves in that lower hexagram part
and
of
it's
that.
Very personal perspective, right?
Yeah.
It's their personal foundation and their personal experiences. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, that's all the lower hexagram themes, anything you've ever learned about those first 3 lines. I mean, any way that for Amy and I, a big part of expanding our mind with human design is thinking about these lines and thematics in human design with the same theme word. So like, what do you know about 1, 2, 3s in all, all the things is like, I don't know, when you think of appetite or consecutive, that's like basic one, right? Foundation, like learning, like secure, like, and then 3s is like, they're all still the lower. Okay. Anyways, I'm getting too deep on it. The 1-4, right? Already you've moved from, now we're in like 1 in each profile, and the 1-4 is considered a harmonic profile because it's the foundation of the first hexagram, the lower hexagram, and the foundation of the top hexagram. So supposedly there's some harmonics there. I don't know how I feel about that right now, but we'll go on. Then 2-4s, right? And so still in both 1 foot in each hexagram. And then we go to 2-5s. Now 2-5s are like 1-4s in the sense that they hold the smaller hours of the day, little slot. And still in both hexagrams. Then we move to 3-5. 3-5 holds the bigger hours slot of the day, and still in both 1 foot in each hexagram, right? Lower and upper. Then what happens, Amy? Then we go to what?
I think it's 3-6, isn't it?
3-6. Yeah, 3-6. You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was getting excited to say the next thing. 3-6
really rare. I don't see a lot of 3-6s.
Well, they're just as rare as 1-4s and 2-5s, Amy. We just happen to know, I think, me and my kids, so we talk about 1-4, 2-5s a lot because personal view over here. But really, I'm the same. I know 1-3-6. My friend Michelle, if you still listen to us, she listened to us for a long time. Manifester, 6-3 or 3-6. She's one of those. She might be a 6-3. Either way, those 2 are the profiles that I meet the least of. Hands down. I mean, we know Brittany, who's 5-2. Okay, we're getting ahead again. So yes, 3-6 is next. I was trying to go in order and make this succinct. I did not. But anyway, so 3-6 is after the 3-5, again, holding a smaller chunk of the day. And we're still 1 foot in each profile, and we're still in the personal profiles.
Personal like the lower trigram, that's personal, and then
Then
the
we go
six
to the
numbers.
transpersonal
Yes,
after
yes,
three sixes. We
right.
switch with
Yes.
the top number getting bigger than the bottom number. And now we're talking about transpersonal. So many words for these, you guys. We're not going to get them all right. But, anyways, I wanted to do the theme. Yeah. So then we go from 3-6 to
4-6.
ooh, 4-6. We're still in this.
Actually, no, because we've missed the 4-1.
Oh my God, 4-1s. We skipped you.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. 4-1's the bridge.
Oh, that's right.
It's 4-6. You were still
Okay.
on point. Rewind. We didn't say that. 4. It goes. I was just still getting ahead of myself. It goes from 3-6 to 4-6, like you said, sis.
Okay.
Yes. And then it goes to 4-1s. And then we've crossed over. The 4-1s are the juxtapose in the middle, 1 foot in each transpersonal, personal. I'm trying to use all the words. Can you tell? Okay. And then the next side of it is then we flip to the profiles where the right. And then we go to 5.
5-1.
5-1. I was nervous.
And then 5-2. Yep. Because so 5-1 has
yes.
the day.
So then 5-1. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Oof, thank God you're here. 5-1, big chunk of the day. 5-2. 5-2s are the again like the flip of the 2-5, the smaller chunk of the day, and then I can't do it anymore. My brain just stopped. You do it. You do it.
Then 6-2, 6-3.
There you go.
Yeah.
Woo! She finished it out for me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it all the way through. My brain pooped out there.
I knew that 4-1 came after 6.
I think it does. Oh God, I hope I said that right. I'm pretty certain. I sounded certain for sure.
You did. You sounded yeah. And I have a defined ajna right now, so I just was believing it too.
Now you've got me questioning it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm right still. I'm gonna go ahead and jump out on that ledge because they're the juxtaposed cross, and I think that is what changes from right angle crosses, because when you're a 4-6, 3-6, you're still a right angle cross, and then when you're a 5-1, 5 whatever, you're a left angle cross. And I think 4-1 is the bridge.
Okay, then that makes.
Let me hit my mic one more time, just to be clear.
You got to watch this on YouTube.
See, if you're on YouTube, you could have just seen all that right now. Oh my God, you can also see my pretty stone. I was showing this to Amy before we started recording. But it's like this shiny, beautiful stone. I'm just going to hope that people are going to go on YouTube and just to see my stone at this point. You should see it. It's like iridescent. Anyway, okay.
So they should be able to do this to watch how animated you are and how little I move.
Oh my God, that too. Brittany called that out so good. I'll never ever forget that she said that. That she's like, it's just like whenever I think of like Brittany, we had on our 100th episode, on our panel episode, where we had all our friends, human design nerds friends back, and she just said, she's like, I just always think when I first met Amy and Monique, like Amy was just standing still, and Monique was like moving like this in the background with her arms, which again, you're gonna have to go on YouTube to see the move I just did because I'm not gonna describe it. But yeah, I got all these beautiful gems from my friend Cynthia, who does crystal sales. If anybody's interested, we can talk about that some other time. And yeah, and so that's why I'm pretty certain that that's where the 4-1 goes, but we're gonna go with that for now, and then we flip to, like you said, the 6-2, 6-3s.
I'm gonna initiate anyone
5-1, 5-2
that they can look it up themselves.
Oh, thank you. That takes a lot of the pressure off of what I was feeling right now to be right. Exhale. Not my job. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. And I'm going to invite you to follow up with me to tell me if I'm wrong, please. And thank you. You guys can reach out to me on the social medias because Amy doesn't do that. And I do. And I love to be told when I'm wrong, actually, because I don't like to be wrong. So if I'm wrong, come at me with the information because I would like to be right. I like to be right. That's what defined mind, defined ego likes.
So just for our listeners, Monique is a beautiful Virgo.
That too.
Do not like to be wrong.
Oh my God, I have all the things. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm a Virgo and a projector. Think about that alone. All the memes about like Virgos and projectors are like basically about correcting people about
A
doing
one line and a one line.
in a one line and a defined ajna.
I was gonna
Fuck it.
say, yeah, and defined heart and
And
defined
defined
ego.
ego. Yeah. Fuck, man. I mean, I'm sorry, not
Listen, guys,
sorry.
don't even look it up. Just take our word for it.
Ah, oh my God. I hope I'm right. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. I don't know. I don't know. I've had a lot
Okay,
of
well, we're gonna
caffeine.
go with it. So let's talk about some of the nuances. Unless
Yeah.
you have more to say about.
No, 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 no. Just I felt compelled to go through that order because I'm a person that I wanted to know that at the beginning when I was learning this, and I didn't understand that flow of of the order. So God, I hope I said it right. I'm
Okay.
gonna say a prayer, and if I didn't, I'm gonna say a prayer that somebody corrects me, and we're gonna move on. No, I want to talk about the nuance. I want to switch
Yeah.
to that because that is the interesting thing. You can look up stuff on profiles all day long. What we're
Yes.
gonna talk about is what we've noticed in our lives with living, me being a 1-4, having a 2-5 kid, especially. That's a lot of my examples, I think. And knowing a lot of 1-3s. I have a lot of 1-3. I tracked a lot of 1-3s, and 1-4s for that matter, even though we're more rare.
I know, but one threes, one threes are like two fours. They're very common, it feels like. I come across them a lot. Um,
Yeah. Which I mean, I guess just makes sense. There are more right angle crosses than left angle crosses
yes,
as well.
yes,
That's a statistical that
yes,
I know I'm right about.
right.
Ego felt good saying it. I am gonna pull out some charts later to confirm things, but that's on my own time. Um, yeah, I think for me, and I was telling Amy this before we hit record. I have a friend of mine who's a 1-3, and we were just discussing some things back and forth. We're getting to know each other, and um relationships came up and how we do relationships came up kind of like in the past. We're about the same age and some of our relation history came up. And I've said basically I was like a serial monogamous most of my life. I've gone literally from one relationship, one long relationship to another long relationship to another longer relationship. Like that's it. That's been most of my life. I've had very little time in my life where I've just dated. I don't even fucking really know what that means. Like I don't with partners, I'm very like I'm committed, I'm vested. Like that's been in at least so far. I don't know. Anything could happen, guys. But whereas her experience was more shorter relationships, multiple relationships at a time, or something of that nature, where it's like just different, right? Different. And whereas we're both one lines in mind, we're a 3-line body and a 4-line body are going to operate quite differently,
Yes.
and that was just one, like, what a different. But and then what I got to in this conversation with her was I think that there's this real almost necessity with the 1-3 and the 1-4, like we need each other kind of thing, because we have the thing that the other doesn't have naturally. Meaning, I look at the 3 lines in my life, 3 5s included, and 3 6s and 6 3s. But the 1 3s are the ones that I relate to 1 3s. I'm a 1 4. We're neighbors. You know what I mean? I'm right there. But they have this resiliency that I don't have. I was telling Amy, I'm like, for me, it's like I'm on the side, like biting my nails, like, oh my God, is it gonna be okay? I don't know, it's gonna be okay. Don't go in there. I'm not sure if you should step on that. I don't know. I don't know. Right? I don't know. My 4 lines got to be sure. I got to be sure. I know somebody at the party. I want to be sure that I like, like it's like double this, like, I need the information type of feeling, or I need the, or familiarity. I need the familiarity type of feeling. Whereas a 3 line doesn't need that necessarily. I mean,
Nope.
maybe that feels kind of ick, right? In terms of bonds, we're so different with the bond breaking. Another reason a 3 may have to, in the conversation I was having with my girlfriend, talking and comparing and getting to know each other in our past and stuff like that. I was just like really thinking about how differently we had like just had relationships. And as a 1-3, 1-4, people that are same age, I was like, wow, that's just so different. But it makes total sense based on our body, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about our second number, which is our design, which is our body, right? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm done there. I don't know what else to say right now.
Well, what I find interesting, because of course, I think about my daughter, who's the 1-3, and
Yeah,
whenever I think about how you guys both show up, you definitely have that one line energy that's very prominent. It's the mental side of who you are, right? It's the personality side. So it's the one you're very consciously aware of. And, I'm always talking to my daughter about learning the dance between does she know enough and can she just literally give it a try? And for you, it's do you know enough to be able to almost make the connection, and to put yourself out there with people. And that's not what the 1-3 is doing. They're just like, okay, I know enough and I'm just going to dive in, but that's not going to feel comfortable for you. So that's what I see is that little tweak, that little nuance, but you really have to set the firm foundation before you can let your body engage. That's what I feel like I witness often.
yeah,
I mean, you said it so beautifully, like when we come into a room, you will definitely take yourself to the person you know.
yeah.
The 1-3 won't necessarily do that.
Right, right. Yeah, and thank you. You kind of reminded me a little bit too. Is what I was saying is that the resiliency is what I see that the three line has naturally that I maybe do not. Not that I can't be resilient, but naturally, just the thing we do naturally that we think is nothing, that thing. Whereas the four, it's the community nurturing, building, whatever that we do. This natural necessity or want, desire to nurture and foster and do like build our community. Always. Three lines have told me that. I remember we had Travis on this show, Travis Day, who's a 1-3
Yep.
splenic projector, so him and I have a lot of similar. I'm a 1-4 splenic projector. I mean, not a lot of similar stuff, but there's some similarities. And he said he's like 1-4 is like, I mean, four lines exhaust me. Like, I don't know how you do that, like keep up with. I'm like, do what though? Like, it's not like I'm doing anything. And I always tell you, I'm like, I'm just fucking around on Instagram or whatever I'm doing, like messaging people. That's just that is normal for me. That doesn't cost, like, that's exactly like, a three line being resilient. They fall and they get up again and they're like, okay, well, let's go on with the day. I don't know I'm describing it, but I don't know what it really
Well,
is.
I'm really thinking about, remember when we went to the High Desert Human Design Conference the first time? So that would have been in September of 2023, and we
Oh,
had to register for things.
yeah,
And how differently your approach was, which is a very 1-4 way. You would see who the speakers were, but you would get into their socials. You wanted to see
yeah,
what they looked like. You wanted to have
yeah,
a little bit of an experience with them from a four-line perspective to make a decision for yourself. And I would love to talk to a 1-3 to see if they would have done it that way. But as a 3-5, that is not the way I did that even remotely. I didn't look anybody up. I didn't sure the fuck didn't get on their socials to find anything out. I mean, that was just, I think, a really perfect characteristic of you as a 1-4, embodying both of those. You needed the information, but you also needed to see if there was a connection. And I don't think a 1-3 is looking for the connection per se,
yeah.
because that third line is going to have the experience to discern if there's a connection. I don't know. That's what it feels like from my perspective.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's accurate. I think that's, it doesn't feel like, yeah, exactly what you said. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything when I do it, but it looks like it to the and vice versa. And I just think that's I don't know, a pretty distinct difference, but also not that different and a thing that can really work together quite beautifully. Like you're close, you're similar, like you get
Yeah.
each other. I don't know. I find like my mom is a 1-3 also. And so there's so many similarities in how we operate. So many. Except man, she's quick. Like I told you the other day, she was like, I was complaining about something I have to do that I signed myself up for. And I was like, fuck, I want to do it. She's like, oh, honey, just think of it as a new experience. You're never going to do it again, maybe. Who cares? It's just a new experience. And I'm like, God shit, if that is not the most three line thing to say to my fucking four ass. Like,
Yeah,
God.
because
But she's so right.
you're
So
gonna room
right.
with somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
There was
There's
some
all kinds of
components of
stuff.
that. Wow, we have a
Yeah.
bird's eye view of your computer.
Sorry. I have to. I'm feeling lost, and I'm just gonna be honest about it because I don't have my phone in front of me, and I know this is not professional, but I'm gonna go look for it, and I'm gonna let you carry on with the conversation for 2 minutes, okay? Because I have a daughter, you guys. That's why I need the phone, and school getting out dismissal time right now, so I got to make sure things are okay. Otherwise, my mind can't. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so just being honest. So you
Yeah.
carry on. I'm a BRB and go to the next profile because I
I'm
think we've
going.
talked right
I
enough about.
am.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
just
going.
checking in.
I'm
Thanks.
going. Okay, so in theory, like we thought of four different ones, and so the 1-3-1-4 we just talked about, and then we were going to move on to the 2-5-3-5. And as you've heard us say, I'm a 3-5, and her daughter Mia is a 2-5, who we've had on the podcast, and it was wonderful. But the nuances that are different there, I mean, I've talked a lot about what the 3-5 energy offers. I'm really here to have gain experiential wisdom with everything that I let myself indulge in. And then, of course, my body is always looking for a solution from that experience. And I think the two isn't so connected or in touch with having an experience. They're very naturally gifted and a little bit more, we have that hermit energy that we feel like often shows up with somebody that's a two line profile. And so, they're going to go into their own fascinations and learn, what they feel called to learn about and dive into. Um, really just thinking about they're going from the hermit to the heretic, where I'm going, from the martyr to the heretic. And they are very naturally gifted and talented. And, from Mia's perspective, like we've talked about, and when Monique comes back, she'll share this. She's not out there trying to create opportunities to have experiential learning. It may be a byproduct, but she is definitely more naturally gifted. That is what goes on with her mind for sure. And
Woo, back.
Monique's back.
I'm back.
All right.
Found my phone. Everything's fine. Everything's under control. Okay. And so back to the profiles. The 2535 is another area where we really can talk about a lived experience, noticeable difference because Amy and my daughter Mia, it's interesting as I'm saying this because your daughter is more right dominant and the 1-3,
Yep.
whereas my daughter is more left dominant and a 2-5. So there really is, excuse me, more of a similarity with, I think, not just our profiles here, but maybe our variable as well. Because Amy and my daughter, I kind of like joke on them all the time, like, okay, left arrows, whatever you need to know. Because sometimes I'm like, what are they? I can't imagine how their mind works. My mind does not work like that. But I see the similarity in them too because I deal with them a lot on the regular basis. My daughter and Amy are probably the people I speak to the most. My mom maybe, but um and their profiles, they're both these 5 lines, whereas they really are fixers. I mean, you guys are natural fixer, helper, solutionists. I mean, really, I've told many a story on here about my kid helping me out. And it's very natural for her to like have just a logical, practical fix. Like I can literally ask her like for advice and like you, not saying that other profiles can't do that, but it is not my natural inclination to fix a problem. It's just
Right.
not.
And
Not
that's where we're
unless you ask
similar.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we look at the 2 and the 5 though, and that's their mind, right? So their bodies are subconsciously always fixing my problems. Is how I feel, Amy and my kid. But then their minds super different, right? Because my daughter's 2 line is just, I would say, way more selective about what she wants to partake in or not. And yeah, that's going to be some ego stuff, maybe some defined G stuff, maybe. But she doesn't need to try some things. Like she's an immediate like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to like that. I know I'm not going to like that. Or it's just a no right now because I feel like for 2 lines, sometimes it's just a no until you want to do it and then it's a yes because you guys are just naturally good at a lot of stuff. You 2 lines, you just have these natural abilities to do all kinds of things, and people I think are constantly like calling you out on them, like, I don't know, at least with my kid, I see people all the time like, oh, you're so good at this. Oh, just yesterday, our friend's like, oh, you're so good at drawing. You're so, and she doesn't, I'm not saying she doesn't care, but it's almost like this whole like she's like, okay, like I don't, it's not a thing till it's a thing. Like, I don't know. Like she likes to like sing. Some people have told her that too. Until like recently when her other little friend was talking about a band, she's like, oh, I could be the singer. Oh, maybe I am a singer. Like, it's just that's how it is with two lines. Oh, maybe I'm good at this thing. I don't know. Whereas like but until then they're not interested. They're also hermits. So they don't need to like bump into people as much. My kid could sit by herself for a long time at home. We could be like on opposite sides of the house for hours. Whereas I think not that a three needs people more, but I just think a three would come out of the room more just to like get something and bump into some shit more. Cause that's what you do. Like literally bump into shit more, meaning people, places, and things. Whereas the two is like sitting home. And I see that difference with you and my kid. Not that Amy's some like people person. It's not like you're out there like trying to bump into people, but you are, I don't know. I feel like willing to put your hands on life quicker than like my kid is. There's like this caution almost
Yeah,
with,
I don't have that caution.
yeah,
I'll just dive in,
yeah,
and really oftentimes without a lot of thought, to be real.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
more I think about it, the more I take away from the experience. If I
Right,
until enough
right.
into the experience, I've missed the opportunity to have the authentic experience. Where for Mia, she's like maybe not even thinking about the experience. I think that's
Yeah.
nuance.
Yes. Yes. I think you nailed it. I think you should say that again, actually, because I think that as a 3-5 who is however old you are, I don't remember your age, but
Yeah.
as opposed to like a 3-5 who is like 20 something or 30, even 30 something or even 40 something, fuck listening to this and maybe feeling like you should think about your decisions more
Oh no.
before you do them.
Yeah,
Like
we
if
don't make
anyone that's
decisions
heard
with our
that.
head. We don't make decisions with our head, folks. That's where we mental our way out of our truth.
But
Our
I'd like for you to say that again for the 3-5 thing is if you think of, you said something like, if I think about it too long, I take away from the experience or what I
Yes,
can take, right?
that's exactly what it feels like. If I am already overthinking it, if I'm like trying to, create some kind of something out of it, then I've taken away from the authentic experience. And I have so many examples of that, but then we're not going to go into them because I want to move on to more profiles. But there is that little fragment of that nuance that's kind of fun to play around with and witness. And you and I have had the opportunity to do that specifically with these first two profiles that we've talked about, which are really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And right. And I want to talk about the other ones also. And yeah, it's really cool to notice these, I think, these small nuances. And it's kind of fun to do with profile because I feel like profile is like not that deep, right? Like we can be like a little silly. It's just the costume we're wearing, you guys. We're not talking about our aura. We're not talking about any gates and channels. Fucking God. You don't have to know. You don't have to know what all the centers mean. We're talking about 6 lines and then you combine them and you just kind of like a lighter, I feel like, part of the system. So
Yeah.
it is kind of fun to like, we gotta lighten up, guys. Can't be too serious. Life is too serious. So yeah, I think 3-5s are excellent reminders of that. And I recently touched the mic again. I get excited. I recently was said on another episode, I remember saying this, like about Amy and I specifically. I'm like, if you need a specific tool, like in your life, like if you need a specific, like I think I used the example, like a mini screwdriver
You
thing,
did.
come to a 1-4. But if you need a toolbox with all the tools in it, you go to a 3-5. Like they have all the tools. They've taken all the courses. They've done all the experiential learning. They've put their hands on it. They've quit things early. They've dived in. They've dove out.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2-5, my kid is like, "Hey, do you want to sign up for this?" No, I don't think so. No. And then one, do you want to sign up for this? Yeah. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It's
I
not
mean,
this
there's some
like
authority stuff that plays in there too, right?
I
So
agree with that.
yeah,
Absolutely. Am I
we're not going to
exactly? And
talk
my kid
about
is
each one of the nuances, but yeah, there's some
but
authority.
yeah, just in terms of like, I think of like you said, I think that there's this like ability to jump in and put your hands on that threes have. I just think 1-3s and 3-5s. I've just witnessed it a lot. And the 6-3s and 3-6s, I know I feel like I keep leaving that out, but I don't know that many. So personal view over here.
But if we were talking, if we were, do you feel complete with the two
Yeah,
five?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, if we were going to move on and then we're moving on to one that's half in the lower trigram, half in the upper trigram to one that's all in the upper. So we'd go from 3-6 to 4-6. Those nuances might look a little different,
Yeah,
maybe a little more pronounced, because that first number switches from the lower trigram to the upper trigram.
yeah,
But what I feel like I witness, the 6 is the 6, man, depending on where you are in your stage, that is the thing, man. That is, you can really feel the energy of a 6, I feel like. And you can definitely feel the energy of a 6 if they haven't made it to the roof yet, because they do not have the level of resiliency as someone who's a 3 their whole life, right? They're not transitioning through phases. But I think what's really different with the first number is the third line is still going to have that experiential learning without question. And then
yeah,
they're going to drive it home depending on where they are, in the different phases of the sixth line, but they're going to continue to perpetuate those experiences. The 4 line, though, so, I'm thinking of the parent that has the 3-6. God love your whole life, right? Because
yeah.
this kid is out there just really testing everything they possibly can. And the more that you can empower them to do that, that's, what I'm just thinking. But the 4-6 isn't going to be as certain about testing those things out at all. The 4
Yeah.
6, here's your cat.
She's so she's already gotten cat hair in my eye. I've been itching my eye for the last like 10 minutes. She's
Yeah.
knocked over my crystals all day today. Callie with a K.
Yeah. And so the 4-6, though, we know that there's, a characteristic trait of those are maybe the ones that stay home and get nurtured a little more, until they blossom into that regal authority.
Yeah.
But again, they're just the same conversation about the 3 and the 1-3 and the 4
Yeah.
and the 1-4. The 3 isn't out there trying to make connections. Nope, they're just
Right.
trying to have experiences. And the 4 is like, wait, 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 where are my people?
Yeah.
That's like their foundation. My foundation as a first line being a 3 is, what am I experiencing? And let me tell you, I'm going to get real bored. I could not be Mia. That's not how
Yeah.
I'm wired as that too. And so the 3 is the 3. I got to be out there having those experiences. And they don't have to be with other people, by the way.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
and the 4 line is searching for that and seeking that and really desires that, whether it's virtually, in person, all those things. And I think that's the biggest nuance between those two, because both of them are having the stages and phases in the 6 line, but it's that first number, which they're intimately familiar with, that feels really different for them. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I just think, and I'm thinking of all the 4-6s too. I attract a lot of 4-6s, and I feel like there is this, even though they have that 6, and I guess most of them are going to fall into the category in my life. The ones that I know are going to be in the category of either on the roof already or even off the roof more than under the roof. I mean, not on the
Yeah,
roof.
under the roof.
Under the
That's
roof. I made up a new one. You guys, it's under the roof. It's like when you're trying to go on the roof, but you're not doing it. You're stuck under the roof. I
I
think
think
that's what it
that's
is.
before they turn 30.
No, no, no. This is different. I actually know a 4-6 who's doing this right now, keeping himself under the roof. I think that's a new one. I'm gonna write that in the book. But
But just think about the parent who has the 3
yeah, the 3-6. Yeah, which one of my daughter's friends is a 3-6. We just found this out. And I gotta tell you, she's a very, I would describe her as not a well, at least from where I'm looking at, she doesn't look like she's like bumping into stuff all the time, right? And I even asked my daughter that, but my kids did say that she does. She my daughter, being the projector that she is, fucking perspective everywhere on these sacrals, said to me when I asked her about her, she said she does make it harder for herself sometimes, mom, it seems like.
Yeah.
That's what my 2-5 said about the 3-6.
And I
So,
don't
which
think a 4-6 would be interested in doing that. That will
no,
be safe.
and the 4-6, right? It's again about safety, I feel
Yeah.
like. And they're super networky, just like I feel like I'm very akin to 4-6s. They feel a lot like me as a 1-4. And I have a lot of 6s in my chart and in my nodes and in my fucking variables. So maybe that's why. But there's this like similarity. I agree with you. I think there's like this safety, whereas a 3-6 is pretty balls out. The
Yeah.
few that I know, they'll fucking, they're pretty, they'll do whatever they're ready to do. And there's not a whole lot of thought, like you said. There's more of
Yeah.
like an action.
And I'm glad you made that comment about what Mia said about her friend because I remember you telling me that. Yeah, they make it harder. And
Yeah.
you can't put your finger on why, but it's like, I got to have the experience. You're jonesing for it. And so
Yeah. I
it's all,
think she has channel of struggle too. I'm not
oh,
gonna
well,
lie.
that's
The
a
3-6 had
fun
channel
time.
of struggle. We found out that both of my daughter's good friends in school both have channel of struggle, and one's a 1-3 and one's a 3-6. I told my sweet baby girl, I said, listen, you 2-5, sweet 7 open centered projector, you be careful, okay? Next to your little sacrals with their 3 lines in their profiles, okay? Those
And
little
channel
girls
of
are,
struggle.
and channel of struggle, right? Those little girls are resilient as fuck. Are you kidding me? Those little girls are the girls that are going to be able to withstand and do whatever the fuck because they're going to try it 87 different ways. But whereas my kid is like, not that she's not resilient, but she's not built to struggle. That's not in her design.
Literally, she's going to stick with what she knows, and she's going to
Yeah.
solutions
Yeah.
from that
They're,
inner wisdom, brilliance, naturally gifted, talented
well,
energy.
and we know this about our friend Brittany when we get to
Yes.
5-2s. There's this like innate brilliance with the 2-5s and 5-2s, I feel like. And maybe it's all the projection they're getting their entire fucking lives. Maybe it's that.
Well,
Like
let's move
maybe,
to that. So that's what I'm
yeah.
going to go to next. The nuance
Okay.
between the 5-1 and the 5-2.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's move to that then. Yeah, I'm ready. Because the
Yeah.
5-1, we know a lot of 5-1s. Our good
Yep.
friend Joan is a 5-1. We love a 5-1. I love a five
Yes.
one.
5-1s
I
are
love learning from
powerful. Yeah.
5-1s. Okay, you
Yeah.
guys. And
But
and
I think their nuance, they both have the 5-line energy. So they're very, fixers, problem solvers, solutionists. You want to universalize what they have, whatever. But I just think about those ones. Oh, do I know enough to be able to do it? Do I know enough? And the
yeah.
twos do not have that. I mean, think of Lisa Callahan as a 5-2 that
Oh
we
yeah, another
like.
one we know. Yeah.
She is a tough bitch. She knows what she knows, what she knows.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's yeah. So right. While there is nuance in design, when I talk about my daughter being like selective or whatever, and that, yes, there's some ego and G stuff there, but that's some profile shit. It's 2-5 shit because I know as a 1-4, I'm telling you how I can't tell you how many times in the day I feel like I'm biting my nails on the corner of a fucking episode or something like, oh my god. Is it gonna be okay? And yeah, maybe that's some spleen shit in my case too. I don't fucking know, but could just be some trauma, anxiety now that I'm saying it out loud. But my point is that it feels like there's not that with my kid. It's like she's certain. Like, I don't know. Recently, even with some friend stuff, she was just like, no, I don't know. I'm good. I'm like, I don't know. It's just interesting. And I think that you're right with the 5-1 and the 5-2. The 5-1s I know, I think worry a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do I know?
That
You
one line,
know, yes, they're
bro, we be worrying us one lines, man.
right.
God, we worry.
It's enoughness of some sort, like with the information, with
Information, yeah.
the
Yeah.
safety of it. And
Yeah.
the two is like all good here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, there is. There's like there's this like, yeah, we good kind of thing with the two. And yeah, and while they may not actually be good, I don't know, maybe it's us again projecting. That is,
So yeah.
because I'm thinking of you. Sometimes we talk about 3-5s being like that too. Like, you look like you got this, you know, but I think with 3-5s, you can be a little bit louder about what it is you're going through. Also, I like visible. It's more visible for me. Whereas a 2-5, it's more kind of internal. And I think Brittany even spoke to that with her profile on that episode. She said something about it being like external, then internal, then external. And I think with
Yeah.
my kid, it's almost backwards. It's like internal, then external, then internal again for her, or something like that. But yeah, so 5-2s, 5-1s, but with the brilliance with that 5 line in the front, those are like, in my opinion, like some of the brainiacs of the world is
For
that 5
real.
line in the front. To me, like, and being a 1 line, I love me a smart brain. Like, I love a good brain. And man, I enjoy learning. I'll be like learning from those 5 lines. They know like how to deliver. And
Yeah.
you 3-5s, of course, too, and 2-5s, of course, too. But I feel like when you have that 5 in the front, you can't help but be that way. And I think Jonah said this on our episode where we had him too. It's like they have to have this relationship with the other where there's teaching and learning happening.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I don't know that needs to happen with a 5-2.
Yeah.
right? I don't know,
Well,
because a one line is like an authority as well. We're here to be like an authority on something. Um, whereas a
but like maybe the one line, it's a little more primal, right? It's primal.
yeah,
You
yeah,
must learn. And the two line is like, you know what? I want to hone this skill a little more. So I'm going to take some time on my own and go deeper. But it's not primal. It's not like, ugh.
yeah, that's a good word for it,
Yeah.
Amy. That's a good word for it because I think about the twos in my life. They're brilliant and they know so much. Like, I mean, my good friend Karishma, she's always teaching me stuff. She's a 2-4, right? Like, there's this brilliance also there, but it's
Yeah.
not the same, right? Mine, it's more of like a pecking mind of like a
Yeah.
primal, like a climb. Like the one line's like, I need it, and the two lines like sitting back, like
I
I don't
got it
know,
all.
yeah, like maybe they're like I'm fucking. I think I got that. I
But
think
what
I
it's they've got what they want to know about. It's not,
Yeah.
although they're also projected on, bless their whole heart.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
that's
Right.
two
Yeah.
fives, five twos. My whole heart goes out to you because projection's not fun.
Double production. Yeah. And we've spoken a little bit about that, I think, on other profile episodes. That is the only two profiles that have double projection, two
Yeah.
five and five twos. So but they both fall into that smaller category of
Yeah.
timelines in the day.
Yep.
So,
Yep. They
you
both
know,
do, which is really interesting as well. So
yeah,
think about the uniqueness of that. So, we wouldn't want a whole lot, like you say, we wouldn't want
yeah,
a lot of defined hearts out there. We don't want to have
yeah,
a whole lot of
yeah.
people that are constantly being projected on because we don't
Right. Right.
explode.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think 5-1's getting enough, but
Yeah,
yeah,
five ones are the ones that have to learn boundaries the most, learn how to fucking say no, because otherwise everybody is going to be just coming at you for sure. All right, do
yeah,
you want to finish it up with 6263? What do you think?
yeah. I mean, we have to. We have to finish it up with that. We can't not. Yeah. What's next? 6-2.
Yeah,
No, 5-2.
my
Yeah.
son's a 6'2".
Yeah, Amy's other kid is the 6-2. She's got a
Yeah.
1-3 and a 6-2. And yeah, and we love 6-2s. Man, I love a 6-2. I love learning from a 6-2 also. Different kind of learning, but I love learning from a 6-2 also. Like sign me up for that course as well. They're just I love 6-2s have been here, done that shit before. They're the
Twos
yeah,
are what, from my vantage point, I had a client that was a 6'3", and um, feels as though had a lot of struggles in her life. Her life did not seem easy, right? And my 6'2" kid, um, it's almost like he's wired. He's built for it. He could raise himself.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that a 6'3" can't, it just made it look a little messier. Right. And
Right, right,
I'm not,
right.
there's no judgment in that statement. It's just they really, really do have to have a lot of those experiences. Whereas 6'2" is almost like that, my right now my kid's a 3'2", basically, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
he's like jonesing for the Saturn return, right? Like, when's this shit going to be over, of sorts. But yet, because the two energy softens it a little bit and he can take himself into that, and embody that hermity energy, it's like he can recover from some of those third line experiences. 6'3" is just like, getting it from every angle. You guys didn't see it, but I'm like trying to hit myself in the face.
Oh, but you can see it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But if you want to see it, you can see it on YouTube. But it's
I
just,
love that we can add that now. It makes me really happy
I'm
because we
very
do a
glad.
lot of animated things, and it felt so like, oh, I got to describe this now just in case. But now there's a way.
Yeah,
There's a
now,
way that makes me so happy. Sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
that's what I feel like, whenever I think about
Yeah.
the energy of
Yeah.
those two, because when you look at my kiddo, he definitely does look like he has it all together, and he always has. And he looks as though, he navigates things uh,
Yeah.
very, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to use the word, it's not fair to say easily, but like mindfully, like
Mindfully. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
mindfully.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not that a 6'3" wouldn't be doing that. Just like you said, the 3'5", it's just a little bit more out there. It's
Yeah.
like kind of on display.
Totally.
And
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a good word as well, mindfully, because that is the difference I would say with Mia as well, with my kid. She's very mindful of her movements, of her ways, I would say more than like a 3-5. It's not that a 3-5 is not can't be mindful of like whatever of but you're not really here to also. You're not mind led, like you said. Put your hands on it, 3-5 or 3-6 or 6-3.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that that's a good word for it. I see and that's the two is the body, so it's like their body has this like natural kind of like wisdom and mysticism. Two lines are like the mystical, they're kind of like there's some mysticism there.
Yes.
I don't know, look that up. I'll invite you to do a little more research on that, but I remember learning that somewhere. Right Arrows just pulled that out of. And yeah, and then I love your description of like the 6-3, just like they're basically a 3-3 for the first half of their life. And you know those first years, the ages 1 to 30, for anybody with a 6 line, for the 4-6, the 3-6, the 6-2s, is that all the sixes? Yeah. Those first 30 years, that first, and you know what, I'm even gonna go ahead and go out there on a limb. I'm gonna say for all of us, those first 30 years, that we all go through life in these 3 stages. It's not just 6 lines. It's just the 6 lines do it in this like display mode for us to like kind of watch more type of way. But if you think back to your life between ages 1 to 30, I think any of us could say we were bumping around more, that it didn't feel great. Maybe not you, 3 lines. I don't know, sit down. But I could say that. I could say that from ages 30 to where I am now, 43. I mean, if I was a 6 line, I would be on the roof right now for sure. I'm more pulled back than I was in my 30s. I was more hands on, right? But the 6 lines are like this role, they have this role model energy built into them. So while they're going to be observed no matter what, whereas like maybe my story is not being as observed, so while I'm bumping into stuff ages 1 to 30, maybe it's not as much stuff I'm bumping into, whatever. They are, and they're feeling like these role models. They feel like like there's this perfectionist energy with 6 lines. They really want to get it right. They feel like they should, I think, or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
It's because, and also they can really see, again, like how I started this episode with the 1-3 being the 6 is the last of the numbers, guys. Highest hexagram. It's like being the last sign of the zodiac. Isn't that you, Pisces?
Yep. I was just gonna say, you read my mind. How do you?
Boom. Yeah, it's just like that. You could see it all. You can see it all.
But the 6 embodies all the lines.
And it embodies all
like the Pisces, it embodies all of the others.
Because you can see it all, you guys. You can see all of it in front of you, behind you, all of it. You're at the end of the line. The person at the end of the line can see everything. The person at the front of the line can only see one thing, right? And so that's what I feel like. 6 lines really feel like they should be. I gotta get it right, But like we're not here. None of us are here to get it right, you guys. We're so human.
I always say right according to who.
It's
right?
So silly that we even use that word. Quite honestly, at this point, like it's ridiculous the amount of like humanity that's in us. Like, what could we possibly get right besides like math? Maybe we got math right. I don't fucking know. I hate that shit, but whatever. the 6 line being the end kind of like knower-aller, and they can see like the horizon, like they can see like they are here to be this embodied role model that we can just look to and be like, oh, that's it. Yeah. Right. Like it's so important when 6 lines, it's so impactful and important when 6 lines share their actual experiential, I was gonna say that word, lived experiences. When they share that, that's where their fucking magic is, bro. If you're a 6 line, tell people the things you fucked up on before. They'll fucking fall in love with you even more. Yeah. Like tell them the things you think you failed at in life. I guarantee you, whoever you're telling that story to is going to be like, they're going to make you feel so fucking good about what you just shared with them, because there is this power when 6 lines share their lived experiences. Yeah. I'm going to say even more than any of the other lines. There just is. Brandy Gilmartin is one of my favorite people to watch on Instagram. She's a 4-6. She doesn't even sometimes talk. I was going to say she talks about nothing sometimes. I'm sorry, Brandy. I didn't mean it like that. But what I mean is like, she'll just talk about like, I don't know, like the latest thing that she's into. It can be very mundane stuff. Let's put it that way. And I will like watch it and be like, oh my God, my whole fucking life has just changed. I have a whole new way to think about something. I'll like tell 7 people about it. And it's like one thing that a 6 line said, because they did it, lived it, told me about it, especially when she gets into the like messiness of her stories. Fucking love that. I love that. So if you're a six line out there, I just want you to hear that. I want you to hear that. I want you to hear the embrace your your threeness as well. Embrace that you're all the lines, like Amy said, as well.
Yeah.
You're here to be it all. So
I mean,
that's can't be perfect. There's
yeah,
no perfect.
think about Brandy Jordan, that 6'2"
Oh
energy.
my God, another one I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Richard Corbett, both of them.
They're brilliant. They've definitely been here before and done this, like I said. And your son too. Every 6'2" I've ever met gives me the vibe like, dude, they've been here and done this before, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I'm sorry if you're a 3'6" or a 6'3". I feel like we didn't really talk about those as much, but
I
hopefully
no,
it
I
felt
think that
okay.
I mean, first of all, we
Just
don't.
from our lived experience
Yes.
perspective, we don't have as much
Yeah.
hands on with that. And so that's why, but
So here's an opportunity, right? We've shared what we perceive, through
yeah,
our lens and our lived experiences and all the filters that come through of all that. And if you have something else to share with us, please let us know. We're dying to know, right? And
yeah.
your opportunity to comment, let us know. Hit us on IG. Monique will take care of you there. Email us if you want to at
Oh,
loveyouandbespirit.
yeah, we have a website now too.
We do.
Oh my God. Lovehumanpeacespirit.com. We're the worst promoters of all time for ourselves. If anybody want to be our free PR marketing person, because we need one, um, we're not great at it on our own. It's preferably a
Can you
sacral.
tell? Can
We need a
anybody tell?
ply. We need a sacral that wants to just respond for free to do some just little light marketing and PR for
It'd
us
be
because
great if you had Gate 42 to match
yeah,
up to
that
our
too.
C3s that
Well,
have great
I'm
ideas, but we just never fucking make it to the finish line. And
that's our
speaking of
nonsense.
the finish line, I got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we're at the end. I just need to correct myself because I said my friend Michelle was a 3'6" and she's not. She's a 6'3". I just looked it up. Just talking about 6'3s. And I love you, Michelle, if you're listening. Okay. Now we can wrap up.
Yes. So if what we share with you today sparks some, anything, please let us know. We'd love to know that. We're always and forever just trying to share with you like what we come up with because
Yeah.
we are in full on experimentation mode of our. It's not that we've stopped learning because that's not going to happen for either one of us anytime soon, I don't think. Even when we
No,
don't want to, it still happens.
no, never
Ew.
gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
But we like infusing, the experimental side of it, which is what we're doing here. This isn't like textbook stuff. This is like what we have experienced, and that's what we're offering. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm so glad you said that. We've been really into that, like sharing where we're at in our process, and it feels really good to do that. So thanks
yeah,
for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed learning about the nuances in between the profiles with Amy and Monique today, because
yeah,
that's what it felt like.
yeah,
But it was really fun, and I'm glad we got to like dig into it a little bit because I wanted to do that
yeah.
regardless when this thought popped in because I never really thought about the similarities, like
No,
how
I hadn't even
close.
that didn't even cross my mind. It just
Yeah,
wasn't until
yeah,
you're in experimentation mode. You're so heavy in the learning,
yeah.
and that's we're doing both, but we're definitely forward in the experiential. So.
Yeah.
Find us on
So
YouTube. Check out our website.
yeah,
Help us out if you'd like to.
yeah,
All things.
all the things.
If you want a reading
And
from us with what we do, if you're curious about our deep dive, we're going to do another round of that. We don't know when, so we'll let you know. And that's
yeah,
how we roll. So,
yeah. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you and love yourself. And we can't wait to see you again next time. And thanks for being here with us.
yes.
We love you.
It's always the reminder to love yourself. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye.